Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, thank you very much for being so loyal to Prabhupada's words and Krishna's words, that you show up every day Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangscha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vaita Giridhara Shri Vasari Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're reading from chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, text 2. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarsayo vidhu sakalena mahata sakaleneha mahata yoga nashta parantapa. Evam, thus, parampara, disciplic succession, praptam, received, imam, this science, rajarshaya, the saintly kings, vidhu, understood, sa, that knowledge, kalena, in the course of time, iha, in this world, mahata, by great, yoga, the science of one's relationship with the Supreme, nashtaha, scattered, parantapa, O Arjun, subduer of the enemies. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. Purport. It is clearly stated that the Gita was especially meant for the saintly kings, because they were to execute its purpose in ruling over the citizens. Certainly Bhagavad-Gita was never meant for the demonic persons, who would dissipate its value for no one's benefit, and would devise all types of interpretations according to personal whims. As soon as the original purpose was scattered by the motives of unscrupulous commentators, there arose the need to re-establish the disciplic succession. 5,000 years ago it was detected by the Lord himself that the disciplic succession was broken, and therefore he declared that the purpose of the Gita appeared to be lost. In the same way, at the present moment, also, there are so many editions of the Gita, especially in English, but almost all of them are not according to authorized disciplic succession. There are innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, although they make a good business on the words of Sri Krishna. The spirit is demonic, because demons do not believe in God, but simply enjoy the property of the Supreme. Since there is a great need of an edition of the Gita in English as it is, received by the Parampara, disciplic succession system, an attempt is made herewith to fulfill this great want. Bhagavad-Gita, accepted as it is a great boon to humanity. But if it is accepted as a treatise of philosophical speculations, it is simply a waste of time. So just wanted to note that Prabhupada says here that an attempt is made herewith to fulfill this great want. So the attempt is perfect, and it's not to be misunderstood that Prabhupada is pointing to any imperfection in the presentation. The attempt is perfect. The attempt is actually being made to get us dull souls burning in the fire of material existence to understand this great boon which Krishna is eternally presenting and presenting again and again and again. Prabhupada mentions in the previous purport that this science, this eternal science of bhakti-yoga was spoken by the Lord even 2 million years ago, although that's just an insignificant period of time, really, in time eternal. But it was spoken 2 million years ago. The same thing is being spoken in different universes, on different planets, at different times and places. But the message doesn't change. It's eternally the same. And it's for this reason that it's essential for the practitioner of the bhakti-yoga system, the soul that desires to direct his life for the pleasure of Krishna, the soul that desires to take complete shelter of Krishna and enjoy the primordial blessings of existence. It's very important for such souls to understand the significance of parampara. The parampara is set up by Krishna himself. It's a system, it's non-different from Krishna. And as Prabhupada mentions in all of his words, all of his purports, it's not up to the conditioned soul to meddle with Krishna's message. It's not beneficial to the conditioned soul to interfere or obstruct Krishna's message in any way. advantage of hearing from the disciplic succession directly is you could compare it to, say, for example, you have a good telephone company, and they're providing you with very crystal clear communications. And if some unscrupulous companies come along and they say, hey, well, they're making a great, they're a great success. Why don't we copy them, do the same thing? That's all very well, but they need to understand the science of how to present exactly the same facility. So if they set up a company that doesn't provide clear communication or clear, or if they take your money and don't provide you with any facility at all, then they're hoaxsters, they've cheated. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that there's over 645 editions of Bhagavad-Gita in English alone. And if it wasn't such a significant body of knowledge, the question is, why would so many people be so interested in it and want to misrepresent it? And Prabhupada again explains that they do that for some material, out of some material motive, and not only they, but whoever reads their books or follows them are doomed to failure. So that is this is the need that Srila Prabhupada has filled. Before Prabhupada actually started to preach in the West, there was no interest in Krishna, no interest in God practically. Everyone was very bewildered. But because there were sincere seekers, and we can thank them for searching at that time, in the early or in the mid-60s or early 60s. And since it was Srila Rupa Goswami's disappearance day, day before yesterday, it's nice to bring up the point that Prabhupada mentioned that before he left to go to America, he was personally instructed by Srila Rupa Goswami that now's the time to go, and he was specifically told by Srila Rupa Goswami to go to New York. So Krishna, dwelling within the heart of all living entities, and especially within the heart of his pure devotees, made the connection between Srila Prabhupada and those souls who were searching, and thus Prabhupada re-established the Guru Parampara for the next 10,000 years. So, since it is Lord Balaram's appearance day tomorrow, if you don't mind, I'd read some passages from Srimad Bhagavatam pinpointing the importance of taking shelter of Lord Balaram in order to make progress on the journey back home, back to Godhead. In the 7th canto, chapter 15, from texts 43 to 45, I'll just read a couple of purports and a few paragraphs that are very beautiful. This is text 43 and 44. In the conditioned stage, one's conceptions of life are sometimes polluted by passion and ignorance, which are exhibited by attachment, hostility, greed, lamentation, illusion, fear, madness, false prestige, insults, fault-finding, deception, envy, intolerance, passion, bewilderment, hunger, and sleep. All these are enemies. Sometimes one's conceptions are also polluted by goodness. Text 45. As long as one has to accept a material body with its different parts and paraphernalia, which are not fully under one's control, oh dear. Boy, I hope I got the rest of it. One has to take shelter of the lotus feet of the spiritual master. So, Prabhupada, in the last paragraph, he says, significant in this verse are the words Jnanasim Achyuta Bala. Jnanasim, the sword of knowledge, is given by Krishna. And when one serves the Guru and Krishna in order to hold the sword of Krishna, Krishna's instructions, Balaram gives the strength. So significant in this verse are the words Jnanasim Achyuta Bala. Jnanasim, the sword of knowledge, is given by Krishna, and when one serves the Guru and Krishna in order to hold the sword of Krishna, Krishna's instructions, Balaram gives the strength. Balaram is Nityananda. Brajendra Nandana Jai Sachisutta Hoila Say, Balaram Hoila Nitai. This Balaram, comes with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and both of them are so merciful that in this age of Kali, one may very easily take shelter of their lotus feet. They come especially to deliver the fallen souls of this age. Papi tapi yata chila harinama udharila. Their weapon is Sankirtan, Harinam. One should accept the sword of knowledge from Krishna and be strong with the mercy of Balaram. We are therefore worshipping Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan. One cannot attain the goal of life without the mercy of Balaram. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Nitayar Karuna Habe Braje Radha Krishna Pabe. When one receives the mercy of Balaram Nityananda, one can attain the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna very easily. Se sambandha nahi jar, rita janma gelatar, vidya kule ki koribetar. If one has no connection with Nitai, Balaram, then even though one is a very learned scholar or jnani, or has taken birth in a very respectable family, these assets will not help him. We must therefore conquer the enemies of Krishna consciousness with the strength received from Balaram. Otherwise, if one does not take shelter of Achyuta and Baladev, then the senses acting as the horses and the intelligence acting as the driver, both being prone to material contamination, inattentively bring the body, which acts as the chariot, to the path of sense gratification. When one is thus attracted again by the rogues of Vishai, eating, sleeping, and mating, the horses and the chariot driver are thrown into the blinding, dark well of material existence, and one is again put into a dangerous and extremely fearful situation of repeated birth and death. So, Prabhupada mentions that in one of his poems, that the world is now full of Duryodhans and Dhritarashtras. That the whole purpose of Bhagavad-Gita is that the whole purpose that Bhagavad-Gita was spoken, and that Krishna insisted that Arjuna, being in the position of leadership and royalty, and Yudhishthira Maharaj being the rightful king, that that power was to be in their hands was essential for Krishna's pleasure, because every living entity is created by the Lord to live with Him, to serve Him, to enjoy full happiness and pleasure with Krishna. They're not created to be flung into darkness by the likes of demons like Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan and their followers. So this is the battle between truth and illusion or falsity, truth and cheating. So the message of Bhagavad-Gita was specifically for the leaders, for scholars, for sages, for teachers, for parents, for husbands, for anyone who has dependents, so they could correctly protect and guide their dependents, protect their dependents from all types of suffering due to uncontrolled senses, not just in the present, but for the future too. Because if we misuse our consciousness now, we pay for it in the future. And there's 8,400,000 species of life suitable for 8,400,000 types of consciousness, just waiting ready for us to step into. But that's not Krishna's purpose, that we degrade ourselves by forgetfulness, and that we perpetuate forgetfulness through the process of forced sense gratification, which is what the demons propose to everyone. So in some ways we're a little bit fortunate at this point in time, because it seems like the Prime Minister of this country is somewhat attached to the teachings of Bhagavad-Gita, And I'm sure there's a few other leaders around the world that have a similar inclination towards guiding their citizens to a more enlightened life. But we are battling with people who want to control and enjoy and take the position of Krishna. So again, Prabhupada was quoting the verse. I don't actually know the verse. If one of you gentlemen know it, the verse Balahinina, that without the mercy of Lord Balaram, no one can make any advancement. Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya, from the Mundaka Upanishad. So Krishna is so personal. He's appeared right here as Gaur Nitai, and in his original form is Krishna and Balaram. And Prabhupada mentions further in the same purport that if one has no connection, as stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahoditam Goda Deyo Pushpavanto Chitra Sando Tamonudo. I offer my respectful obeisances to Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Goda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. This material world is a dark well of ignorance. The fallen soul in this dark well must take shelter of the lotus feet of Gaur Nitai, for thus he can easily emerge from material existence. Without their strength, simply attempting to get out of the clutches of matter by speculative knowledge will be insufficient. So whatever the materialists are propagating, it's simply to bring defeat to whoever is following them or taking up their suggestions, because Krishna has clearly stated that if the results of one's activities are not pleasing, haritoshanam, if they're not samsiddhi haritoshanam, if they're not pleasing to Krishna, then they're just shrama eva hi kevalam. They're just a useless waste of time. So it's a very interesting circumstance we're in at the moment, where schools are shut down. So many institutions are shut down. It appears that for the Krishna consciousness movement, this is very advantageous, because there's a little gap. There's a little gap in where the system is more or less broken down. And if we were prepared, we could actually go out and say, well, we've got all the solutions. Yes, we do have all the solutions, but we haven't been doing our homework too well, and we haven't put all of our resources into developing the programs that Srila Prabhupada really wanted developed, which are the farm programs, the gurukuls, so that people could actually have access to natural knowledge and natural life, natural foodstuffs, and experience a life of health and spiritual happiness. So really it is up to individual devotees to throw off the shackles of speculation and sense gratification, and learn how to really cooperate in a devotional spirit, because Krishna mentions, as we know, bhakti-yoga abhijanati, that only through devotion is he to be known. Because anything, the price we pay for self-realization is pure bhakti. If we want to be fully Krishna conscious, then we have to be fully devoted to Krishna. And that's the purpose of sadhu sangha. It's not to, there's no other purpose for this Krishna consciousness movement than to propagate pure Krishna consciousness, exactly the way Srila Prabhupada gave it to us, pure and simple. Pure, simple, joyful. Prabhupada mentions that if we're not happy in Krishna consciousness, it means that we're doing something wrong. Because we cannot serve Krishna unless we're in jubilant spirits. So then we need to make, he mentions we need to make some adjustment. So that also is a battle, because as conditioned souls, depending on our level of purity or impurity, or sincerity or insincerity with which we come through the doors of the temple, we bring with us our attitude. There are some devotees who are very, very serious about going back to Godhead in this lifetime, and there are others that are here because it's fun, it's a nice lifestyle, and as long as the going's good, they'll stay. But it's becoming increasingly evident that yes, generally speaking, the ISKCON temples are wonderful places to be. But we have to take it further than that. I mean, compared to the outside world, for many people, it's a wonderful place to be. The association is safe, generally, and you're taken care of, generally, so long as you're engaging nicely in service. But we all feel the need to take it further than that. We've got to take it out to the world, and that takes courage. Srila Prabhupada, because he was firmly situated, or eternally, because he's eternally situated in full Krishna consciousness, he's always seeing Krishna everywhere, in everything, within his heart. in every act, every word. Prabhupada is fully Krishnized. So for an acharya like him, even for Srila Prabhupada, it took tremendous courage, because even for Arjuna to fight all those Maharatis, it took tremendous courage. So even in our individual situations, however big or small, qualified or unqualified we are, Krishna is calling upon us equally to be courageous. Even the children, they need to be trained to be courageous. Prahlad Maharaj was only 5 years old, yet he took on Hiranyakashipu, who was controlling the whole universe and had the demigods under his control. So, yes, courage, compassion, and conviction that this message, it's our duty to present this message as it is. It's our duty to chant the Hare Krishna mantra in such a way that our heart actually does become cleansed. By the way, once when Prabhupada was asked how we should chant, he said, chant in such a way that you never want to stop chanting. So there's so many goals and challenges Srila Prabhupada has set for us, but they're all very joyful. They're all very pleasurable, and by taking shelter of Lord Nityananda, who is non-different from Lord Balaram, and by taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada, who is also non-different from Lord Nityananda, Shakshad Hari Tvena Samasta Shastra Uptastatava Vyata Eva Sadvi Kintu Prabhoya Priya Eva Tasya Bande Guroshi Charanaravindam. That Srila Prabhupada is Shakshad Hari. He's as good as Krishna, he's as good as Hari, because he has not obstructed Krishna's message in any way. He is the transparent via medium. So the sunshine of Krishna's message comes through him as clear as if Krishna was presenting it directly. That is the significance of the Guru Parampara. So our challenge is to show our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada by following in his footsteps and presenting, not misrepresenting, but presenting or praying to Krishna at every moment, and praying at the lotus feet of our Vaishnava Sangha, that we can present Krishna consciousness the way Srila Prabhupada gave it to us, and be courageous in doing that. Be convinced, have full conviction in Prabhupada's method and support, and the support of the whole disciplic succession. So I'm very grateful to you gentlemen for listening, and if you've got any comments or additions. Yes, sir.
There are so many demands upon us to take the shelter of so many personalities. to get their mercy. You mentioned a few, Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda. You didn't mention Srimati Radharani, the Goswamis. I mean, how are we supposed to satisfy all those demands?
By following the I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention Srimati Radharani and the 6 Goswamis. Yes, because it's all included. They're all the message is one. The mood is one. So we will contact each one of them as, in the due course of the moments in our journey. We'll contact different personalities at different times. So as we contact them, we beg them for their mercy. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, yes, it's understandable, but that seems to be like a periodic thing. When you appeal to them on the festival days or something like that.
No, we have to appeal to them every day, at every moment, that we're living by their mercy alone. Actually, when our eyes start to open a bit, it's just like a child. When the child is first being fed by the mother, it only has the experience of milk. Then gradually, as it grows up, and its eyes open up and start to function, then the child realizes, oh, I have a mother, and then a father, and then a sister or brother, an uncle, an aunt. Oh, there's a whole world out here. So as our eyes open up gradually, we realize that we're living by the mercy of our predecessor acharyas, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas that surround us, by the mercy of Krishna Balaram, their associates. We're living by the mercy of God in His parts and parcels at every moment. And our duty, our Sanatana Dharma, is to engage in favorable service, water the root. But perhaps you had another angle.
No, I've been asking that question for some time.
Does that answer it?
Not exactly.
Okay, so I'll try again. The question is, where do we surrender?
Well, how do we satisfy all those demands? We've got to go through Srimati Radharani, we've got to go through Lord Balaram, we've got to go through Lord Nityananda, we can't.
Okay, well,
We've got to get their mercy.
Well, Prabhupada mentions then that by pleasing, if you want to know if Krishna is pleased, then if you please the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master, then Krishna is definitely pleased.
Oh, that I would understand. By pleasing the spiritual master,
Yes.
you fulfill all those demands.
Yes.
That's understandable.
Right, but we still have to pray. Yeah. Well, at least I do. I mean, Prabhupada tells us to take shelter of Lord Balaram, to take strength from Lord Balaram, knowledge from Krishna. But yes, it begins with the spiritual master. Thank you for helping me understand that. Anything else? Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please excuse any offense or shortcoming. And thank you again. There was one conversation Prabhupada had with Gopal Krishna Maharaj, And Prabhupada quoted the same verse, Nityair Karuna Habe Braja Radha Krishna Pabe. These rascals, they do not know Nitai, Balaram, Hoilo Nitai. So without the mercy of Balaram, no one can appreciate Vrindavan life. So all glories to Lord Balaram. May we all take shelter of him and appreciate Vrindavan life wherever we are.